right, now we're officially recording
Let's do this.
with Kenny St. Pierre. So you got the 155 Indian Avenue on, dude.
I do. Just representing Haskell,
All
Indian
right.
Nations University,
Yeah,
Lawrence, Kansas.
that's where I met you back in, what, 2012?
Dang. To be honest, with you, I don't even remember the dates.
So you were, let's see, you were a student at Haskell back then, right?
Yep.
You were just finishing up?
Just finishing up. And I think that was when the football season was axed. So I think that's when I was meeting with you
Yeah.
to be part of the, student strength and conditioning. I remember helping you unload boxes, meeting you, and then going into the weight room.
Yeah, because you played all 4 years at Haskell, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and then they just straight up cut funding to it,
Yep.
and then said this isn't, whatever.
Yeah.
So that left it with what, 10 sports, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a weird time not having football there. It was just weird that fall season, just not having football.
Yeah.
Just getting, since you're so used to just seeing it and being a part of it, and then it's gone. It was just weird.
Yeah, because that was the big thing that I remember is the number of, there were a lot of really good athletes there.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Of just, I don't know what the issues were as far as like what could have made it better or whatever, but I mean the athletic population was for sure there. I mean, you have a lot of guys who did all sorts of different dancing and grew up playing tons of sports, and I think that carried over a lot. But,
yeah, no, Orion,
Mhm.
he's the head strength and conditioning coach now at Haskell. He was a football player, and so when I think there's a video out there of him saying that he thought about going home, but then he's just going to stay here
Mhm.
at Haskell and graduate. And it's cool that he's giving back and kind of like a full circle moment for him.
Mhm.
So this was really cool. And then being able to coach him was was pretty cool too. You just seeing all the talent and potential of all the football players there, and then obviously it gets cut, and you just wish nothing but the best for them. But I think on that another level of them coming to Haskell, all native university to play football, I think that's something special too. But to see it get cut from them, like it was like, man, that hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were linebacker, running back coach. Is that right?
No, just linebackers.
Just linebacker?
Like defensive coordinator or co-defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was a lot of guys who came there just to play, right? Like that was their main focus. But yeah, what sports did you grow up playing?
I grew up playing, just backyard football, where I spent most of my days.
Yeah,
Just kidding. No, but honestly, just playing. I lived in the country, so I played, home run derby with some of the friends out in the country. Man, we ran around the country and the farms and played on bales, all that fun stuff. And it's just climbed trees, got dirty. And then you move into school, play at recess, you play football, basketball, all that type of stuff. And then high school, basketball, football, a little bit of wrestling. And I think I tried track one year, but it was just too much running.
Didn't try any of the throwing or jumping events or anything?
No.
Yeah, I tried track for a season, and like when you're a little kid, everybody thinks, or younger, everybody thinks they're fast. Then you line up against some dudes that are actually fast. And you're like, all right, I'm slow.
Yeah, no. One of the older track coaches at Wagner in South Dakota, he was like, "Man, I think you can be a really good 400 meter." And then we started training for it, and it was just like, damn, this is tough.
Yeah.
And then I think I did it for like 2 weeks, and I was like, oh, it's not bad. Like the first practice was just insane. I was just like, holy F, I don't think I can do this. But then started doing it and getting good at it, and then I was like, this ain't for me. and kind of just like, I'm not gonna do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, especially because I don't know. I'm good for about 200 meters, and then after that, I'm like, my mind starts going other places, and
yeah.
it seems like a miserable race, like the 400 and the 800, because
Oh, geez, yeah,
I mean you're gonna, if you're not puking afterwards, I mean you feel like you're gonna puke.
yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
definitely not fun. Running in the military wasn't fun either.
yeah. How long?
Oh man, I remember at Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri, um, doing our PT every morning. Some interesting training. We had to run with water in our mouth, and we couldn't spit it out. I didn't spit it out, but there's other people just spitting it out. But I'm just like, dude, this is insane. This is like, so we had to run a 2 mile run, and I think we would run about like maybe 2.5, 3 miles. So it was just up and down the hills of Fort Leonard Wood, and I'm just like, holy F. Like, I think I started way in the back, because I just wasn't a fast runner, and like they take your times. Like, I think once you do the pre-screening, they take your times, or at least they did for me. And then when I got to Fort Leonard Wood, they were like, okay, your time, you're back with like, I think it goes A, B, C, D. And I was at D, and I was just like, how do I say that? I'll say the military terms, like the fat bodies were back there. And I wasn't necessarily fat, but I'm like, dang, there's some fat bodies back here.
Yeah.
And so like my time started increasing, and then I was up in the A group. But that was just, I guess it was a weird time. Like, I really enjoyed like running at that point, because you seen the progression, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm getting better at it, and whatnot. So I think my best time was like a 13:10
A 2 mile.
in the 2 mile.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's some guys who get, up at the SEER school. There's some guys who get super fast. Like
Yeah.
there's, before this shutdown, there's some dude ran 2 mile. I think 11:30. So I mean, there's some dudes that'll move.
Oh, 100%.
But
Yeah.
then there's also some guys that like they're just not runners.
Yeah.
They can do a ton of other stuff, which is great. But so much of it is people think, oh well, fitness, or if you're in shape, it's because you can run. It's like, there's a lot of other components here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. I think like a lot of like the fast ones that I've seen, they're maybe about 5'6", maybe like a $140, $150,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just moving.
Yeah.
And you can just see like it's just so smooth when they run.
Yeah.
It's like they're just blown in the wind.
It looks effortless.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
that's kind of one of the debates I get into with people of like, okay, cool, this guy might not have a good run time, but if you need some shit picked up, carried, thrown, if somebody goes down and you gotta drag him or carry him or whatever, like that's the guy to do it.
Yeah.
But what's funny is there's another guy right now who's 260, and he ran a 13-minute 2 mile.
Jeez.
So we got into this like, all right, like I basically used him as an example and said to all these other guys, like, why is this dude running that fast? He's running that fast because he squats and deadlifts and does push presses, and then once a week he'll sprint. That's it.
And that's all he does?
That's all he does. And in addition to his sprint day, he'll do like some plyometrics and things like that. But it's like, man, it all comes down to how much force you're able to put in the ground.
That makes sense.
So I mean, when you're in high school playing sports, and even when you're in the military, were you lifting weights at all yet? Or
Honestly, like I think my senior year is when I actually started lifting weights.
Gotcha.
I used to, push-ups, sit-ups. That was basically all I did. And then I think really honestly, just the backyard. We played backyard football all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was, if we weren't playing that, I think we'd be probably playing basketball, or just, playing. So we used to play tag on a go-kart. And so like we would have to run from the go-kart, and we would just, we were running through the creek, through the backyard, and it was just running.
No broken bones.
Yeah, it was crazy. I flipped the go-kart when I was younger. I don't know how I didn't get hurt, but I flipped it, and I'm like, okay,
just leave it.
Let's go.
Leave it. We gotta get out of here.
Started to back up again, and then went on. So, Nothing formal. I'd say maybe boot camp was like the closest thing to weightlifting. Um, just do push-up, sit-ups. Put a sandbag on the back of your on your back and just do push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had sandbags in the barracks, which is interesting. And then I don't think I really started lifting until like I was in the Navy, and then I started lifting weights on the boat, and that was an experience too because the ebbs and flows of the ocean,
Oh yeah.
and like it would be super light for one rep, and then it'd be super hard for the next rep. So it was just insane. But that's not like I really like lifted weights, I guess.
So were there some dudes that were in the Navy with you that were like showing you how to hit the basics and go from there?
I know. I just think I just started lifting. I mean, just I think I was interested in like I'd get these Flex magazines back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and just see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And obviously they're bodybuilders and whatnot, but it was just seeing what they're doing. It's a different, I guess, lifting versus bodybuilding. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So just read that type of stuff, and then seeing what everybody was doing on the ship, and then just doing like squat, bench, and then just free weights. That was about
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah, because that's kind of how it was. I started getting those muscle and fitness magazines and all that stuff, and reading the routines and articles and all that stuff,
Mhm.
and I had no idea,
Yeah.
and so I was trying to do what these guys were doing, like their workouts, and then surely wasn't eating enough, and then wasn't doing the other things that they did in order to look like that.
No, for sure.
So then let's see, I did that from probably 18 to 20, and then I talked to a real strength coach when I was like 21. And I was like, oh shit, like I am way off.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's just been kind of a fun evolution,
Yeah.
like now I do such little volume, but my progress has continued to bump up.
Mhm.
Whereas when I was younger, I used to think, oh, well, if I want better results, I need to do a lot more volume. I need to train harder. I need to
Yeah.
do this and this and this. And then as over the years, I've realized, oh, okay, well, if I train really hard and then go home and rest and recover, that's where the magic is going to happen. Like, it'll be great. So I don't know. It's just been kind of funny to see. But
No, I think at Haskell having the strength coach, 2 strength coaches there prior to you being there, it really like opened my eyes to like the programming and how it has to happen. Because I was under Coach Lynn as well,
mm-hmm.
And I think he was at the University of Missouri doing like women's basketball and then like with football, and then I think he's still at the University of Missouri, but I think he's in like a hospital for younger kids or something like that.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So just getting to be under him and watching the programming, and then actually going through the programming and seeing your progression go from like each year to each year and each year, and then like listening to like the coaches of like, hey, those knowledge nuggets that they're giving are actually really knowledge nuggets for like real life,
Mm-hmm.
And how you can approach life too. But then also being under you, being like Olympic lifting, like that's like the best I felt like ever. Like mobility was there, like it wasn't there, but then after working with you, just the mobility was just like insane.
Mm-hmm.
And then just seeing the strength, just all that functional stuff that the Olympic lifting gives you,
Mm-hmm.
it was just amazing to see how each little technique improved you as a lifter.
Mm-hmm.
And then like in a weird way, it translates with life too.
Yeah.
Like those little important like techniques you can translate into life. Like those little details are just as important as the big ones. And so seeing that and experiencing it after you're an athlete, it's just like, okay, that makes sense. And then you just start connecting the dots, and it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of the fun part is you see different coaches, how the coaches that I was under, that I interned with, or whatever, it was okay. They're all saying the same thing from a principal standpoint, but their methods might be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's all that little stuff, because I tell people all the time, training is not just about lifting weights. It's about much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some times where you're deep into a set and you're like, okay, I'm not sure if I can make this happen, but I'm sure as hell going to try. Or the squat's representative of life, of the bar's life, and it's going to push down against you. You got to push back against it.
Mm-hmm.
Just all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what made Olympic lifting fun to me, was especially if you're crunched for time,
yeah.
or you're trying to check all the boxes. It's really hard to outpace your ability because you're limited by something, so
For sure.
Whereas go ahead.
I think, like, on that, like, your analogy of, like, the squat and the barbell,
Mm-hmm.
I wish that more student athletes would understand that, like, because you obviously want to give them the strength to do their sport or whatever, but then also that other, like, piece of life. So I feel like your guys' position is just more than just a strength and conditioning coach.
Mm-hmm.
There's also other things that that it relates to, and I think in I guess I don't want to sound like the old man, but today's society, like, you can just it helps.
Yeah.
And how can you guide these young athletes to make better decisions, be better students, and that type of stuff? And you just want to give back in the best way you can. So,
yeah, because it really is, like, especially with all the screens and everything people have now, where they expect things instantaneously. And
mm-hmm.
one of my favorite parts about training is it's delayed gratification. So you can see who's done the work when it's time to compete,
Mm-hmm.
and it's those little investments that you're not going to see today, but you'll realize them later.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is, I don't know. It's sad, but kind of funny in a way of, like, you see these people quit after like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had a guy reach out to me, and he's like all fired up. He wants this. He wants to do this thing, and he reaches out to me directly. He's like, "Hey, can we get some coaching going?" And I was like, "Yeah, we'll see if it's a good fit." And went through the full thing, and then he quits after 19 days. He quits after 19 days, and he's like, and he quit because, number one, he was never doing all the stuff I was asking him to do. Number two, he was trying to tell me, well, I want this in my program. I want this in my program. Yeah, man, that's great. That's cool. But, like, we can't, like, I safely, ethically cannot have you do these things yet, because you haven't earned the right to do those plyometrics that you think are cool, that you want to do. He just sees the stuff on social media, and he's like, oh, that looks cool. I want to do that. Cool, man. Like, you can't even squat your body weight yet. So I'm not going to have you do plyometrics.
No, I think that's a valid point. Like, the instant gratification that, like, young kids see these days. And it's just like, dude, first you have to lay a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's rough laying that foundation, like, why would I progress you to, like, do other complex things?
Yeah.
And it's just like the social media thing, like, it's just insane. Like, people want to just skip all the important stuff, the stuff you need
Mm-hmm.
to try to get to that end point, and it's like, it's not going to work out. You know what I mean?
And it hurts.
Yeah.
Like, the process fucking hurts.
Oh, for sure. And I think that the beauty in the process, like, you hear trust the process, right? Like, the kiddos want to just get to that end point.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I think the beauty in trusting the process is the process.
Right.
Like, all of the ebbs and flows of just life and how you feel, how you're thinking, that is the process. And then if they could understand that, like, amazing things would happen. I'm sure their numbers would get better. Everything would get better if they just understood that little principle of, like, the process, and trust the process is where the magic happens, is where the beauty happens, is where you start figuring out who you are and what you're about. So, man, it's, yeah.
Because yeah, the process is the fun piece. You know, like you hear people all the time talk about, well, don't worry about the outcome if you put the work into the process. Just enjoy the process. You know, and I think people, to your point, get so caught up in like just worried about the outcome that they focus on, you know, just the outcome, not the process itself.
Hmm.
But yeah, with the process piece, you know, just enjoying the journey is a huge chunk of it. You
Hmm.
know, is um, you know, and also like having people that are gonna like being connected in some way and going along with that journey is huge. Like I remember there's there's one time where I did a squat workout where I did 250 for 10, and I sent you a photo of the bar loaded, and
Oh yeah.
I said 250 for 10, and then a couple days later you sent one back that said 250 for 11, and I was like, ah, fuck, all right, and I don't know if I think it was the end of my squat cycle, but anyway, I was like, okay, this is the type of stuff that's going to push me to be better. Is like other people like pushing each other
Hmm.
appropriately and saying like, yeah, this is how far. Because I think oftentimes people put limitations in their mind of like, oh no, 250 for 10 is all I got, and then like, where's that come from?
Yeah.
You know, it's just something that's made up.
No, I think I to that point, I think it's just that healthy competition. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You just want to see people get better and do better. But then also there's like the Dan Johns, like he says, leave one in the tank,
Mm-hmm.
and so like it's something like I still do to this day. Like you want to do more, but at the same time, I'm like
Yeah.
you hear like when you read Dan John, I'm like leave one in the tank, and I'm like I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Because that's that's the thing I tell people all the time about. You know, the first Jurassic Park, where you know, what's his name? Goldblum's character.
Hmm.
He says, you know, you guys were so busy stopping to think if you should or if you could, you didn't stop to ask if you should.
Yeah.
You know, which is what I think of with training. Like the other day, I did currently at the end of my last work sets, I'm doing a plus set. So I'll have 5 as my minimum, and then anything over that's bonus.
Mm.
So it's been a fun thing to add in, and I'll never push it to absolute failure. But
Yeah.
um, anyway, I was doing my deads the other day. I got to rep 5, and I was like, okay, that was pretty hard, but I think I got one more. So I hit 6, and then I was like, I don't know if I should try 7 here, like if it's safe to try 7
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I just, you know, cut it and then live to fight another day. But
Sure.
that's when I get caught up in, and I think a lot of people do too, of like, hey, you probably could push this, but should you push this right now? Or
Yeah.
should you live to fight another and have another training day?
For sure.
But yeah.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, what you doing up here? What you doing up here in Spokane? You been able to lift since you? Been...
No, I have not. So I'm at a conference, National Indian Education Association (NIEA). Um, so you get to hear from actual indigenous or non-indigenous, like Indian education,
Mm-hmm.
like people, like so, like so when I first started Indian education, um, yeah, I didn't really know anything about it. Going to Haskell, having your first Native American teacher, and seeing like that there's Native American teachers out there kind of blew my mind. You know what I mean? I was like, holy F, like this is crazy and cool at the same time. But then like, finding your identity at Haskell for me was super important because like how can you effectively, teach, younger Native American students, to, be better people, but at the same time I'm like, okay, they need to see like people like me in the classroom so that they can feel comfortable like being who they are and like having that, I guess, the welcoming feeling to it, like just being like, okay, there's another native person that looks like me,
Mm-hmm.
like it's okay to be in school. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I think that's one level, but then like seeing um, all the, I call them superheroes in education or Indian education, seeing them present and then present their data of like history, erases indigenous identity,
Mm-hmm.
and I think seeing it through the curriculum and how, all this political climate that we're in right now of saying like, like erasing history. And I'm like, that's what we've been trying to do, like bring native like perspectives into the classroom so that kid does feel like he's important at school.
Mm-hmm.
And you know a lot of I guess a lot of the studies have shown that um, teachers look at Native American people in America um, as just things of the past, like pre
Mm-hmm.
1900. And so, like, there's very little teaching about Native American people after the 1900s. And it just makes us look like, the stereotypical headdress. We wear war bonnets, we live in teepees, like just all those stereotypical things. And I think, what people they don't understand is that we're still here. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And we're thriving and we're doing well. Um, and I just think it's like we're just like everybody else, but like when you're in K through 12 systems that don't bring indigenous voices to the curriculum, like a non-native or an adult will never see that,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll just go with that pre 1900. Oh, they live in teepees, they wear headdresses, and not every tribe wear headdresses. We all have specific things that we do, and 574 federally recognized tribes, we all each have a unique identity.
Mm-hmm.
And treaties with Native American people, like that's the supreme law of the land, and
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of people understand that. Even I'll even say administrators don't understand that. That'll be your principals, superintendents, your district employees don't understand that. Your teachers obviously don't understand that. Your pre-service teachers don't understand that because you're not teaching about um, Native American people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so like you see the K through 12 systems not teach about Native American people, or we're just things of the past.
Mm-hmm.
Then teachers go into their pre-service, teaching degree without any knowledge or any history of Native American people, and then they go into those classrooms and still. So we're still um, we're just being part of the status quo, and just if we can get education systems to understand that we're here because this was once all Native American
Yeah,
land.
yeah, yeah.
And so it's just interesting seeing that process. But then also I think it's still it's a process that it's a process by design. So
Yeah, I was talking to the girls the other night, um, because they're 10 and 7, so they're starting to
Mhm.
ask all sorts of, you know, they're learning about history and like the same history that I was taught, where it's like, hey, these are the Plains Indians. These are,
oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, all right, man. Just from my short time at Haskell, like I learned that what I was taught was, left out a ton of shit
Oh
and
yeah,
was
oh yeah.
way wrong. But I was telling the girls, I was like, because we were talking. I just watched this movie the other night, Napoleon, and it's got Joaquin Phoenix as
Mm.
plays Napoleon. And anyway, we were talking about most of the times when countries disagree in history, it's going to be an argument over uh, land. It's territory.
Mm.
So it's territory, it's power, sometimes religious stuff, sometimes maybe some king wants some princess from another land, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like, or but anyway, they were like, well, what about the United States? And I was like, oh boy,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really don't know. Like I have the general idea, but I can tell you like the way we treated the native people is terrible and wrong. And yeah, like we stole and lied and like did all sorts of shit that's like, and that they're hearing this for the first time from somebody who doesn't know really, and they're just sitting there like mouth is wide open. And they're like, well, that's wrong, that's bad. And I'm like, I know, but I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
There's like a deep, complex, like dark history that it's interesting. America doesn't want to acknowledge it's weird. Um, I think of like, um, you know, Germany and the Jewish people,
Mm-hmm.
and I think what America can learn from Germany is that they openly talk about it in their school systems. They actually
Mm.
say, "Hey, what we did was wrong." You know what I mean? And I think Canada, they're First Nations people that I want to say maybe a couple years ago they apologized, you know, openly apologized. And I think what Biden did on his last, I think year, I believe he went down to the Navajo Nation area
Mm.
and he apologized. So
Mm.
it was, and then people are always saying, "Oh, why did he do it now?" But I'm like, I think if we can get to a point that we're apologizing, but then also having policies put in place of like, we should be teaching about
Yeah.
this. Like, you know, obviously it happened 1800s. You know, obviously you can go back to first contact and then
Right.
all that type of stuff. But I'm like, if you can apologize about it and then like make policies on it to say, hey, you were trying to right our wrongs, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And just acknowledge it and honor like indigenous people. And I think it goes back to just like honoring people's relationship with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just at the end of the day, it's just like treat me with respect and I'll treat you with
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah.
And it's really simple and but like at the same time and there's you know there's politicalness that people try to just um shout out and just like it's right, but like if you look at history and you really analyze history, like there's so much you can learn from that. You know what I mean? I think of the Germany instance because like they're actually doing stuff. Like
Yeah.
they actually paid with reparations of those families. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it's really interesting. But you know, just the political climate now is wild.
Yeah. I
It's just
mean,
like it doesn't make sense.
yeah, because there's been literal like they are literally erasing pieces that are documented
Hmm.
and just trying to play pretend like that didn't happen
Yeah.
across multiple things. But
Yeah.
and it's like, what the fuck? No, like it's actually this is a thing that happened, and um, my when you're talking about the Germany climate, that reminded me when I was like 14, my dad took me to see a this woman who was traveling the country, and she was a Holocaust survivor, and she was a twin. So if you're a twin during the Holocaust, then it was even worse because then you got experiments done on you and your twin. So, um, she talked about all the experiences, and I was like 13, 14 years old, and there was like 10 of us in the room. So it's kind of interesting because you're like, okay, this is one of the most important moments in history of like we can't forget stuff like this.
Hmm.
And why are there only 10 people here? Because if if she was selling tickets, they were $5. I mean, like more people should have attended.
Oh, for sure.
But one of the questions when she was done was like, why do you do this? Like, why do you go around and because she traveled the country, just reliving all this over and over and over every time she spoke. It's like, well, why'd you do this? And she's like, so people don't forget about it. And all of us were like, damn, you're going back and reliving that hell
Yeah.
daily or multiple times a week.
Yeah.
But,
That's super powerful to see that or hear that.
yeah.
And to experience it, it's gotta impact you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because, just trying to talk to the kids the other day about, hey, well, we landed here and then we lied to native folks about this and we told them about that and like some of the stuff I know. Like it's like Wounded Knee or Little Bighorn
Hmm.
and like some of that stuff. And it's like, yeah, this happened. This was terrible. And like each one ends with like, this was terrible. And
Yeah.
like, we fucked up, and, yeah, it's just, I don't know.
And also, I guess I wanted to say that I guess not all Native people are just saying white people are bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we understand it, and I think Um, for like, if you look at, how do I say this? So if you look at each family or each Native American person, um, there's a whole family structure. There's a whole kinship system. There's a whole history on, like, not, I guess not history, but just values that we've had as indigenous, and we still have as indigenous people, that we live with each and every day. So that misconception of like, oh, we're just primitive savages and
Yeah.
just kill, and
Yeah.
like, no, that's not who we are. Like, it you probably pushed us to that point,
Hmm.
but like, that's not who we are. Like, it's just having a relationship with everything around us, even humans, non-humans, plants, animals, that type of stuff. Like, if you really just sat down and thought about that, like, if you had a relationship with, like, let's say you eat salmon, are you gonna abuse salmon? Like, if you had a quality relationship with salmon or deer, are you gonna just slaughter deer, or are you can just like fish salmon to extinction? Probably not. You're just probably gonna take what you need just to survive.
Hmm.
And then, like, because I mean, it's just so interesting. And then how does that relate to like where we are now? Like, and if you can just treat people with respect, if you can treat the land with respect, the animals with respect, like, the whole ecosystem is
Hmm.
is just, it's better.
It'll take care of itself.
Yeah.
Like, um, even when I was at Haskell, and I joke around that I was the diversity hire because I'm a white guy, like, but it was, I never had, any bad experience that I can think of or remember. I mean, the only thing was like, at first people were like, "Who the fuck's this dude?" And like, didn't say much. And then as like I made an effort to get to know people and like genuinely care about people and say
Hmm.
like, "Hey, like, what's your name? Where are you from? Can you tell me a little bit about your tribe or whatever?" Like, just genuinely caring and building that rapport went a super long way. And so yeah, any kind of negative things that people have about it, I don't.
Yeah,
I think it just comes down to people are people and just care about them.
for sure.
You know.
I think your point of just that, building that relationship, like, that's my whole idea in education. Like, I think my experience, like, going to school in a public school, like, teachers were just like so negative on Native people. And then, like, so as I became a teacher, I'm just like, man, I just got to treat my kiddos with respect and just genuinely get to know them and know their experiences, and we can share experiences. And I think that's, I mean, like, in education, you talk about classroom management. If you're doing those things, acknowledging or wanting to authentically wanting to know about each student in your classroom, I really didn't have to take care of any discipline problems.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I had to take away, like, for discipline, is when, like, phones, iPads were in the classrooms, and you just said, hey, like, like, if I have to ask you 3 times, I have to send you to the office, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So, there was like maybe a handful, like five times. So I taught, mainly high school, 9 through 12, and then in Lawrence, like, seventh grade, which I thought I would hate, middle school teaching,
Yeah.
but I really enjoyed it. And then, so all that time, like, if like, I just treated them with respect,
Mm-hmm.
and it took care of itself.
Yeah.
But I think you get those teachers that just want to have that power and control in the school, and I'm like, in the classroom, I'm like, dude, that's weird.
Yeah. Because
Like,
it. Oh, sorry. Go
it
ahead.
just changes the whole dynamics into like the learning process. So
Yeah, because I think you know even with what I do, I like just over the years from time at Haskell to where I'm at now, like I've never thought of it as like, well, I'm better than you because I have this position. I recognize that, you know, I am a small piece of the puzzle in whatever you're trying to work towards.
hmm.
I'm just trying to provide you with the best information in this one specific area. So, like at Haskell, I'd talk to basically each one of the team captains, and it was kind of like, we had mutual respect and understanding of what kind of the, what we're trying to get done. then I kind of let those guys have more autonomy about like, hey, just take care of your guys. If they start getting out of line, you take care of it before I have to, and then we can go from there. And it worked out great. Like there was never really any problem. Um, the hard part, kind of the part that was shocking to me was, um, what were there like 14 platforms or something like that? Like that Haskell has a nice ass weight room.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that 14 platforms, we had like 60 guys for football or something. So anyway, I broke it up where it was like 3 to 5 at a platform. And the hardest part was like, there were, like I was talking about earlier, there were some guys who were just studs.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just amazing athletes, genetically gifted. And they wouldn't want the worst guy to feel bad about the weights that he was using. So the stud would like come down to the guy's level of like who the worst guy is, so to speak. And I was just kind of banging my head against the wall, like, what the fuck? Like you can do so much more. You can go harder. Like,
Yeah.
And somebody pulled me to the side and they're like, no, this is a culture thing. Like we're working together as a collective society versus like, white guys more often than not are trying to do things like individual, where they're like, look at me, look at me, look at me. Where native culture more often than not is more collective.
For sure. No, that's true, and that's how. I mean, I think if you look at it, like I think there's so much that America can learn from indigenous people, and if they could just get out of their own way, I think it would be better.
Yeah.
Just overall, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So you got a plane to catch here soon, right? Because you're what year? Let's see. Are you in year 3 of your PhD program?
Yeah, year 3 in my EDD program.
Okay.
At UWT in collaboration with the Muckleshoot Tribal College, and so the 3rd year, just got to do all the writing, fun stuff.
Yeah, you got the bulk of it done.
Well, you did your proposal, and now I got to start doing the research, talking with people, all that good stuff, and then graduation's in June.
Damn, 26.
Yeah, so it's here.
Dang.
Like I want to say that there's time, but like there's no time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just it's a crazy process. There's so much like trust the process. Like I think for my bachelor's, like when I started and I got to my bachelor's, I was just like, okay, that's it. But like there was so much growth that happened through that whole process, and I'm just trying to like not have that same feeling. But like I think with every graduation that I had, I'm like, it's a graduation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was nothing like super special about graduation, because I'm like, dang, it's over. So I'm like, I guess I'm always thinking of like, what's the next step?
Right.
And just like, so like people are like, oh, I'm done with my doctoral program. I don't even want to do any reading or writing. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, dude, like that's the fun part. That's the interesting part. Like I jokingly said this week that I'm like, man, I might just go do another one or like do something, you know what I mean? Like, because there's so much like we said, like that in between the start and the finish, like there's something there that it's like pulls me in, like, and just the idea of like learning stuff and growing as a human being, like to me, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That was one thing that kind of like you inspired me with when you first started going back to school, and I was like, oh shit, Kenny's going back to school, because I thought my time was over with school, and I just like whatever, fuck it. And then I saw you go back, and I'm like, all right, maybe it's not like too late, or whatever. And then I started looking into it a little bit more, and I'm like, okay, maybe this could work. And now that I'm into year 2, I'm almost through all my prereqs or whatever requirements I have to do.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying it more than I thought. And now after this semester, now it's like, okay, now I got to get heavy into dissertation type prep and all that other stuff. So it's a lot more fun than I expected. But Yeah, so soon to be Dr. St. Pierre, man.
You still call me Kenny.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever like that doctor. Like, there's also people like that. You gotta call me doctor, and I'm like, dude, just chill out.
Depends
Like,
on situation, like I might have Wendy still call me doctor or
oh
something.
yeah, 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 yeah. Maybe I'll just make Alta call me doctor.
But
I have to put on my white coat.
just every time you get home.
No, it's just been interesting. It's been fun. It's been rewarding. It's been challenging. Being actually being away from the family, that's been um, one thing that I've like noticed in this last year, and I think it's because you can kind of see the end a little bit,
Hmm.
and it's just like, dang, I want to be home more. You know what I mean? Going through that first and second year, I'm just like, man,
Yeah, because they've had you traveling a lot.
yeah. So I go up there once. I go up to Tacoma once a month.
Oh, once a month. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's been interesting getting to know like the Pacific Northwest tribes
Hmm.
and how they do stuff. And I think this past spring, I went to they call it protocol,
Mm.
and it's basically like a canoe journey where all these people go to a certain point. Um, and there's like ton of history behind that too, and it's just like it's beautiful to watch, and then actually get to be a part of that.
Mm.
Like you get to learn about what they do as tribal nations, and
Yeah.
it's just like it's just super interesting, and just like it's just like an honor to be there. And
Yeah.
I think the more I get into like Indian education, like you get to see glimpses of what tribes did prior to, like colonization
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
westward expansion, that type of stuff. And it's just like, man, I mean, we do, and we just do have still beautiful culture. And it's just like not a lot of people want to look at that type of stuff. But me on the other end, getting to see that, it's fun. Like it's just like if you go to like Europe or wherever, each culture is different. And I
Hmm.
think that's the beauty of just getting to know their culture and like experiencing it. Like it's just it's fun. It's interesting. You get to learn about people. You get to interact with people,
Hmm.
and I think that's just where where I enjoy like what I do
Yeah.
in that aspect.
Yeah. Buddy and I were we had our kids playing last night, and we're just trying to wear the kids out, and
Mhm.
um, this dude gets out in the woods all the time and hunts and fishes and all that, and just likes to get away from the city.
Mhm.
And anyway, so sitting there, kids are running around playing, and we got to talking about like how cities have changed everything.
Mhm.
Like, man, if you could imagine rewinding the clock, 10,000 years ago, and this was the sun was setting, it was starting to get dark out. There weren't any street lights. It's like, what would we be doing as like a small grouping of people, like a small tribe,
Mhm.
regardless of where you live?
So,
It's like, okay, well, all of us would be, you know, checking the fire,
mhm.
helping gather the kids, making sure wives are taken care of,
Yeah.
and like just hanging out. I mean, it's so different, especially when you're out in the country, out there versus like in the city where it's like, God, you can always hear the fucking noise, and
Mhm.
there's always lights on and
Yeah.
something. But yeah, man, I think it'd be cool to imagine, like what would it have been like back then?
Yeah. It's got to be pretty rough though too. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's a so my wife Elta has like a cultural camp in Alaska, and it's on a remote island. The only way you get there is by boat or plane,
Mm.
and there's no internet, there's no anything like that. Like you have a sat phone, um, and so that's their communication piece. But going out there and being out there in like camp, and we're building cabins and just like subsistence living. We're
Mm-hmm.
catching and fishing our food,
Mm-hmm.
that type of stuff. So in like the firewood, like obviously cutting down trees and that type of stuff, like that, like if I bring my mind back to that,
Right.
like
Yeah.
that's rough. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like there was no time for, oh, I can't do that. I'm just gonna let it go. Like
You can't.
no, like get your ass up and go.
Yeah.
Like there was no like there's no chill time, so you had to do it.
Yeah.
And then in like Indian culture, like sometimes like if you weren't pulling your weight, there was obviously you couldn't be a part of like the part of the community. Like you had to then prove yourself back into the community.
Mm,
And it's just like those social structures that we had and we're trying to reclaim like in society right now. It would be it's super important. Like you
right.
know what I mean? Um so like going back to your thought on like how it would be back in the day, man, you're working
It'd
your
be
ass off.
hard,
Yeah.
but I mean, there is some kind of, I guess, romanticism to, if that's a word. I don't know. It sounds good. But yeah,
Romanticize.
yeah, to romanticize about, um, just like not being so plugged in all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, because um, Alta, back when I was living in Kansas, Alta brought back a box of fish and gave it to me and it was salmon jerky, king salmon,
Hmm.
Soho salmon, and it was I think some halibut.
Yeah.
Dude, I've never had any other meat like that ever. Is like how good that salmon jerky tasted. Like
Hmm.
it was way different than anything else because you can't buy that stuff
Yeah.
at the store. And that salmon jerky, I remember that so well because like I got it on my fingers
Hmm.
and it's stained, man. Like it has like such a deep oil coming
Hmm.
out of it, and you're like, man, there's okay, this is interesting. Like you got it's folks who live up in Alaska that they're eating fat and protein primarily fat,
Yeah.
some protein and very little carbs, and they're living pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It was I'll just never forget that because like it makes me wonder like how affected our food is now.
Oh,
There's
100%. Like even knowing like where to fish.
yeah.
There was a gentleman by they call him Unga Tom,
Mhm.
our Uncle Tom, and he knew all the spots like to go. Like my first year up there, he just observed me, and I'm just like, dang, this guy probably hates me. You know what I mean? Like, and I was asking Nana Diane, I was like, he doesn't say anything to me. I'm asking him questions, and he was like, oh, just give it time. And I'm like, okay. And little did I know, he was just obviously observing me, watching my work ethic, knowing if I was going to do those right things for the camp. And then the second year I went back, man, he started talking, and we were just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
He was telling me all these spots, and like, it's cool to see like where black bass is in the ocean. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I'm just like, dude, he knows like the spots all around here. And it was just so cool to see that, and I'm just like, okay. And so like obviously like back in the day you had to observe like where game is and deer and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So you can get your food source.
So before he was going to give you the secrets, he wanted to check he was evaluating.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Because I thought he just hated me. I was like, dang, he doesn't like me. But no, just it was cool. And then that second year I shot my first seal, taught me how to skin a seal.
Oh, shit.
And then like he told me, he was like, hey, this is your first seal. You have to give the meat away to the community.
Mm.
And then so we had just like some ribs.
Oh,
We just grilled it up and just ate seal.
how does it taste?
Super oily.
Really?
Like
Like-
super oily. Like
Was it like an acquired taste or is it?
I would say an acquired taste for
Okay.
sure. I think that was my first time eating seal. So
And so, did you do? So, you shot seal, skinned it,
Mhm.
and then did you eat the liver, like everything?
I think we just ate the meat. I don't know if we ate the liver or anything. Like maybe I just know that we helped process it, and then I got whatever was left from the processing. There was some other things that they did with the insides.
Right.
I wasn't sure like on what they did with it, but yeah, I took it up there, and we started grilling it and all that stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I'd be interested to try seal, and then I've heard I tried moose. I ate some blackberry yesterday.
nice.
Man, blackberry, so good.
Black bear's good.
So good.
We had a black bear roast for our wedding.
Oh yeah.
So they brought all the like traditional foods to our wedding, and we just we ate that. It was amazing.
Yeah.
The food's amazing.
Yeah.
But like yeah, like So you eat all this food and then you go work and then it's just like, um, I see why like the food systems in Alaska like were really good.
Mm.
Like blueberries, like wild blueberries are
Yeah.
amazing. Like I don't like there's just blueberry patches in certain areas, and we just went and ate blueberries, and I'm like, dude, this is like the best damn
More
blueberry
flavorful.
for sure. Yeah.
Is it? But they're more rare, right? Like they're harder to find and things like that.
Certain places like
Okay.
they know their patches, like the certain areas.
Tom's not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
tell you shit.
yeah. So like it's interesting.
Yeah, everybody up here freaks out about huckleberries,
Yeah.
and I've had them, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but I don't know. I just don't have the. And people straight up won't tell you where their huckleberry patches are.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tight-lipped on
I
that
think I
one.
went to Anthony's and I had like a huckleberry mojito.
Oh,
Yeah, it was like they crushed it up and all that type of stuff. But I knew that huckleberries were like here,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, I've been. Yeah, you need to be getting out on that plane, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for swinging by to chat for a little bit.
No, I appreciate it. It was it's been fun. Like the first podcast ever I have ever
Oh, for
done.
you?
Yeah.
All right.
So this is interesting. You know, just appreciate all the things that you've done and continue to do. It's just really cool to see your family
Oh
here
yeah,
in
yeah,
Spokane too. So yeah,
yeah, man. It's been great, and yeah, we'll have to figure out something to get together for the holidays or something. So,
for sure.
but all right, cool. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Rep by Rep Strength podcast.